Hi, in this video, I will show you how to discover and catalog your data with using AWS Glue. Here we will have our source raw data in Amazon S3 bucket and contains a huge list of CSV file. Now we will use AWS Glue crawler service which will discover the data from the source here, that is S3 bucket, and load that data into the AWS Glue provided data catalog. So this video will be a hands-on experiencing saying like how you can transform your data by discovering the data present in the source, which is a raw data from the Amazon S3 bucket, and load into the AWS Glue data catalog table. So with that note, let's go to the my subscription here. Let me take you to the my AWS subscription here. So this is my AWS subscription here, and I'm currently in AWS Glue. If you see here, and then within the AWS Glue, we're gonna go to the data catalog, and then there is a service called crawler. Now here we will build that crawler definition, which will help us to extract the data from the source S3 bucket and load it into the AWS Glue data catalog, right? So we will have a dynamic table created under this particular data catalog table. That's what we're going to see here. So first one, before I start that, let me take you to the my Amazon S3 bucket. So in the Amazon S3 bucket, I have a S3 bucket called serverless analytics one. So in this one, we have a raw data, which is present underneath this path, right? And then so yeah, so underneath this I have a two folders, but we're going to look at the yellow trip, yeah, yellow trip data, then load this data into the the data catalog, that is AWS Glue data catalog. So with that, I will go to the crawler. So you're going to go to the crawlers and click on create crawlers. By the way, you can do this activity with using the CloudFormation template, Terraform, or using the SDKs. So here, let me call it as a the demo crawler, right? So I have given the name demo crawler. Let's go to the next one. In this one, since if you see here, so that is nothing but source data configuration. So is your data already mapped to the glue table? I will say no. And then let's go to the next one, that is data source. Click on the data source here. So here our data source is S3 bucket. So we're going to choose that S3 bucket from the data source option. A network connection is not needed because we are using the public network. So the S3 bucket is present in this account. So we're going to have the in this account option in the location of the S3 data. And then in the S3 path, we're going to browse that. And from here, we will choose the same bucket which we have seen previously. So here I will go to the serverless analytics and go to the raw. And then from here, we go to the path that is yellow trip data. So currently, if you see here, it is discovering it. And we're going to choose this particular path here. That is, the New York taxi. So let's choose this complete path. So, right, if you see here, it says that, so it says there is some error. This is basically field is required. Okay, this should be gone now because we have selected the path. Previously, it was, since we have not selected the S3 path, so that's the reason it was showing error. But now, if you see, we have, I don't know, given all the path. So if I go back to this particular S3 bucket and show that, so underneath the, the New York taxi, so you should have two tables. One is taxi zone lookup and the yellow trip data. So something like that. Okay, so and underneath that, we're going to go to the subsequent crawler run. So we will say all subfolders, and then click on add source, right? And then we go to the next one, that is basically configure the security configuration. So in that one, I'm going to choose the ETL lambda access role, which is admin role and has access to the AWS Glue. In the sense, in this IAM role, I have added a trust to the IAM role, like that. And rest all options, we will keep the default, and we go to the next one, that is target table. So let's go to the so here let me keep it under the default target database. So what is that database is underneath the data catalog. We should have created the databases. By default, AWS provides you one database table. Let it be like this. And then so in the crawler schedule, so let me make it on demand because I'm going to crawl it only one time. Next one, so we keep it all default and click on a create. So once you click on a create, what happens is it just creates a definition. So the definition, if you see here, I have already have the previous definitions, but recently we have created demo crawler. You need to select that and click on a run. So basically, what does that mean is you have defined the the pipeline of data, the discovering and data loading, right? Data loading into the destination, data discovery from the source. Now this crawler is running, let's wait for this crawler to get completed. Then I will show you that, how does it created a table by discovering the schema of the, CSV file and loading those data present in the CSV file in those tables. Okay, that's we're gonna see in a couple of minutes. Okay, so after waiting for more than 3-4 minutes, I see that the crawler job got succeeded. So this is the latest run that we have run, and it has done the job. So if I go back to the data catalog databases and then choose the default database, so underneath that I see that two tables are being created. So how does those two tables are being created? By discovering the sub path. If I go to the New York taxi folder, underneath that we have a two subfolder, that is taxi zone lookup and yellow trip data. So those two subfolders are considered as the table name here, and then automatically it has identified the schema and loaded the the data present underneath that file into this particular data catalog table. Now your data from the the raw S3 bucket, now it is there in the AWS glue table, or AWS glue data catalog table, right? So now so if you want to recheck whether the schema of the CSV file in the taxi zone lookup is as same as this one, so let's do that verification as well. So if I go to the taxi zone lookup, yeah, and then so this is the table, that is taxi zone lookup, and in here I'm gonna download this particular file, and we see the column of that are basically the headers of that particular CSV file. So if I open this CSV file, right, and little bit more, so you see that it has a location ID, the borrow zone, service zone. So we have a 3-1. Okay, so if I open this, so we have a 4 columns are being there in this particular CSV file, and that is what crawler has discovered, and it created the data catalog table. So you can find those here, right? You see that we have a location ID, this one borrow, then you have the zone and service zone. All right, similarly for the another table, so we have seen for taxi zone lookup. So there is a one more table underneath the default database, that is if I go to the databases, then databases, we have seen the taxi zone lookup, we go for the yellow trip data. So yellow data also has discovered the same thing here, right? So if I open the yellow trip one example folder, so we go to the yellow trip data and we download the small size one. So all looks like all are very big size, or in MBs, right? So now if I download this, by the way, it is 20 MB, it's gonna take us some time. So I'm gonna go on a pause while it gets downloaded, and we're gonna show you that the headers of that particular CSV is as same as what the crawler has discovered in the in the data catalog table. Okay, so it took more than 30 seconds to download it. So if I open this big size CSV file, so it looks like it is really big. It's not able to load it basically. Okay, it has loaded. If you see here, it has the vendor ID, something like this, right? Pickup time, all these columns. So if I go back to the that particular table, so this is our yellow trip data table, and here you go, right? So we have a vendor ID, pickup date time, and that's what you see here. So pickup date time likewise. So right, so what does that mean is basically, so here I wanted to show you that how you can discover and catalog your data from the source S3 bucket, and destination here is AWS glue data catalog table. So with that note, thank you very much for watching my videos. Kind request, please do subscribe my channel, that would really encourage me a lot. With that note, thank you, thanks a lot, and see you in the next video.